Hey everybody, Chris here. This is a Blue Collar Gentleman video, part of the Blue Collar Beer Gourmets channel. This series is specifically the men's health series, and while I'm not going to be necessarily showing you anything in specific, like with the celery juice video, showing you how to make celery juice or anything like that, um, what I am going to be addressing is the health aspect of this. I don't know whether I've made mention of this before in this video or not, but a lot of these videos, particularly men's health, are going to be mentioning my blog, which is called Fat 50 and Running a Marathon. And that's spelled FAT 50 and running a marathon, AND.com. And that's the blog where I'm charting what's going on as I plan on running a marathon when I turn 50. And I will be turning 50 in July of 2022. As I put up this video, this is the end of March, first part of June of 2019. I'll be turning 47 in July of this year, and that will leave me 3 years to train for a marathon. And I have broken it down in the following way. And the first year is going to be getting rid of flab, getting rid of the bad living, getting rid of my bad thinking, getting rid of my sugar addiction. Really going to be just focusing on what I put into my body this first year. Not really even going to be focusing so much on the running or getting into shape or anything like that. I do walk a half hour every morning at the gym, and I have been thinking in order to get rid of some of that flab, I'm going to have to be exercising more. But and I will be. But this is really going to be focused more on what I'm putting into my body and how I'm eliminating lots of bad living, decades worth of bad living from my system. So that'll be the first year, from 47 to 48. From the years of from turning 48 to to 49, that will be more focused on getting into shape, getting into an athlete's body. I'm going to be spending a lot of time at the gym, a lot more time at the gym. Hopefully by then I'll have a year of eating right and thinking right and doing right under my system, so it'll be time to really start spending a lot more hours in the gym and getting my body, it's getting rid of the flab was the first part, but getting the body into lean muscle is the second part. And then from the year 49 to 50, that's when I'm actually going to be training for the marathon, going to be running smaller races along the way so that I'm prepared and I have the mindset and the knowledge of what it's like to run a marathon. I don't just want to have a marathon be the first race that I ever run. But when I went to my cardiologist back in August of last year, which would have been a year almost to the day of my quadruple bypass, which I had after my heart attack 3 days after I got married, my cardiologist said to me, you could be training. He was very pleased with the flow of blood in my heart, and he said I could be training for a marathon if I wanted to. And at the time I thought, oh, that's funny. It's something I would never do. And I got to thinking about it, and I thought more and more about it, and I realized that there are people in their 80s and 90s who are running marathons. And I thought, and the reason your fat ass can't run a marathon? I mean, you just got clearance from your cardiologist to train for one. Why not? And the more and more I thought about it, I didn't really have a good excuse for not doing it, except for the fact that I had this body that I'm stuck with. And I'm going to, well, I am broad. I am broad and I am fat. And I have been fat for all of my life. I was a fat baby. I was a fat small child. I was a fat kid. I was a fat high school student. I was a fat college student. And I've been fat pretty much all of my life, and I had resigned myself to that and decided that this was how life was going to be, and I was just going to be a fat guy from here on out. And then I realized that there was absolutely no reason to give in like that. The fact that I might have to work a little bit harder than other people do in order to get rid of the weight, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. That's all that means, is that maybe other people can lose weight easier than I can. So what? So what? That's not a reason to give up. And that's what this is all about, gang. And that's why I'm doing this 3-year plan. I could easily, train for a marathon in 6 months' time, but instead I'm doing 3 years, and that seems like an ungodly amount of time. Well, that's what the blog is about too. The blog is a lot of people, they'll after they've had that successful, after that they reach that triumphant thing, that whether they've crossed that finish line, whether it's an actual finish line or a metaphorical finish line, that's when they write the stories. That's when they write the books and tell you about what it was like along the way. And to me, that isn't that I don't learn anything from that. So I'm doing this for myself, and I'm doing it for other people too. If you maybe you're skinny and you always thought you're just going to have to be skinny for the rest of your life and unhealthy. Maybe you're skinny and unhealthy. Um, sometimes you can't get over certain things, but what you can do is you can do as much as you possibly can, and you can try and do more every single day. And that's what I'm going to be doing. And so this is, as I said, the end of May, the first part of June. I've got until July 30th when I turn 47 to kind of, well, screw off on my diet and my exercise plans and whatnot, but not really, not really. In fact, what I'd like to do is kind of get the mindset, try to develop a plan for what I want the first year of this training to look like. So once again, that is at Fat 50 and running a marathon, and let me just go ahead and give you that. That's FAT 50 ANDRUNNING AMARATHON.com. Fat 50 and running a marathon. And hopefully by the time I get to 50, I'm not going to be fat anymore, but I will be running a marathon sometime on or after July 30th, 2022. So sometime during the time that the year that I am 50, I'll be running that marathon. And you're going to be seeing a lot more videos related specifically to men's health. I'm going to be doing a lot of research on what it's like to get rid of well, the garbage that's in my system, and I'm going to be looking for slow flushes if there is such a thing. There's a lot of things like the cabbage soup diet. If you're familiar with that, you eat cabbage soup and you end up sitting on the toilet for the next 8 days. I don't want anything like that. I don't want a quick flush. I want something that's basically going to go into my system and just start attacking it the way that white blood cells do, and I want it to just deteriorate and crumble up all the bad living, all the drugs, all the bad and rich foods, and I'm looking for something along those lines. So there are absolutely no quick fixes in this. Case in point, it's the three-year training program to run a marathon. So obviously, I'm not looking for a quick fix, but that is the plan. That's what it's all about. Those are the videos that are going to be the health videos. That's what it's going to be focused on. I'm a fat guy trying to lose weight and then eventually trying to get into runner's shape. But you don't necessarily have to be fat to be unhappy with your body. And I'm not happy with my body. I'm not happy with the way that my body is. And so I'm doing something about it. And instead of going on a diet, which is what a lot of people do, I'm just changing my whole mindset. I'm just making myself somebody completely different, somebody different than I was. By the time I would love to come back and check on this. Well, 3 years from now, just before I turn 50, I'd love to come back and see how I look in this video as opposed to look to others. But anyway, so that's the rundown. I think I've ran a little bit longer than I really intended to, and I certainly didn't want to bore anybody, but I did want to give you an update and an understanding of what's going to be going on over these next 3 years. So the video series is still part of the Blue Collar Bear Gourmet series. Still going to be putting up a review every 3 days. But there's, the Blue Collar Gentleman is going to be civic responsibilities, style, etiquette, all those kinds of things that focus around being a gentleman, and doing so in ways that don't cost you gobs of money. So that's the rundown. That's what this channel's about. If you want to watch a fat guy lose weight over the course of 3 years just to check in on me, I hope you do. I really do. I hope you share this with everybody. I'm going to be putting up something on Facebook explaining this video and describing what it's all about. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you commenting. I appreciate you subscribing, and I really appreciate you sharing. And until next time, remember that part of a gentleman's code is constantly seeking self-improvement. Cheers, everybody.